Hello chat, it's been a while. Welcome to today's Yap session, all about the world's most dangerous hobby. Anime figurine collecting. Let me tell you, it's the most dangerous hobby in the world because you think you'll buy one and you go, oh, I'll just get this one. This one. That's all I'll buy, one. And then you buy another. And another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. And you'll keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. And suddenly you have a whole cabinet full of displayed figurines. And then suddenly you've got another cabinet coming through because you want more figurines now. And today's video is about anime figurines. But first, I want to see if this works, right? Because YouTube has a new feature. So, sorry, I've got to turn on my actual YouTuber thing. If you like this video, please leave and like and subscribe. Guys. Did it work? Did the cool flashing thing happen over the sub button? Please, did it happen? I'm hoping it happened. That'd be cool. But this video is about my joy for figurine collecting and then just me info dumping to you about all the different kinds of figurines and how you can start your own collection if that's something you want. That's right, if I'm spending money on figurines, I'm dragging you down with it. You're getting involved in buying anime figurines. You will now, you will. You have no choice. You thought you had a choice? No, you don't have a choice. You will buy anime figurines. You will buy them. So, to show off a couple figurines in my collection, this is the first figurine I ever bought, ever. And I will name it Denial. It's not Miku, it's Denial. Because when I bought this figurine, I thought, no, I won't get into figurine collecting. It'll just be this one because it's Miku and it looks cool. So it's a Miku Taito prize figure. And I bought it from a convention, and it was a pretty cool figurine, actually. Over the years, though, because I've had this figurine for so long now, she does have a little bit of sun damage there, but, you know, it's been on the windowsill for a while. Or at least was. It's in a cabinet now, but it was. But it was the first figurine I ever got. This figurine's probably my favourite in my collection, which is Senko-san. Her figurine is known to being very, very, very delicate. Very, very delicate. The company that makes the QC wasn't too great on this figurine. There's quite a few stories of the leg snapping, so it's very scary to move this one about. But getting this one was huge because it was really hard to find and also a little bit expensive. I don't want to think about how much this figurine cost. And this anime figurine is actually from a show that I've never watched before. I do have a couple figurines in my collection where I just never watched the show. I was just like, that's cool. This figurine is from, I believe, My Hero Academia, Toga. And the reason I got this was actually because it was something I'd wanted for so long, and that was a cel-shaded figurine, which is the paint that you have now. It looks cel-shaded. It's absolutely stunning. It was completely worth waiting so long and hoping for a figurine to come out like this. To end out this section, here's just two more figurine brands that actually I really, really like. I should have done one, but no, we're going to do both. We're going to do both, okay? I know it's technically 4 figurines I'm showing you, and it was meant to be 3. But we're doing all of them. So, these are from a company called Coco Design, and I picked up 2 of these so far. So, I have Gura and Marinette. And I just think these are absolutely stunning. I think the colouring and the details on these are just so well done. And I just love the poses and whatnot. The Gura one, some Hololive fans might know that the Hololive one, and actually no, the Marinette one as well. They were life-size figurines at one point that were on display, and they were lucky enough to scale them down into 1/7 scale figurines, and I love that so much. I think they're so great. And unfortunately, my Gura one has a defect. Still not able to get over that, but there's a small defect on it. On the side of the bubble, there's like a plastic stress mark or something. But the same actually goes for the Xenostone Zero figurines from Apex Figurines. I think the poses are brilliant. I think the details on them are absolutely brilliant as well. The chain on Corinne moves. I love the sharp little painted areas on like Nicole's boots, for example. And we're back to Coco Design, the texturing on Marinette's clothing and Gura. It's just, they're stunning to look at. I think they're just so well done. So that was just a little bit into my collection, just to show off a couple of my favourites. Going on to an opinion that I have and a personal preference is, one of my favourite things about anime figurines is when they come and you have a good base. Now, the base doesn't seem like that big of a thing, but the base is like a massive thing, I think, because I don't like bases which have just opaque bottoms. So it's just like unless the figurine suits it, it's just like a black disc or something like that. I think I've got some example footage playing now of some of these bases. and it blocks the light going through the cabinet. I don't think it looks nice. So I really like figurines which either require no base or bases that are really themed and they look really stunning to just look at. So for example, the Gura figurine that you saw in the Marinade, absolutely amazing bases, they're all themed. The Zenless Zone Zero figurines, they're also, even though they're chunky, they are themed, and I really like that. And another thing I like is when a figurine, if they don't know what to do for a base or there's no themed base, they just do a clear acrylic base. I love the clear acrylic bases, the lights just go straight through them, it's great. And another thing as well is, a really good figurine for me is a figurine which really invokes the character through the pose. There have been a few figurines I've seen in the past where the pose is very bland and the facial expression is also just... I love figurines when you can see the character just by looking at them. I think a great one would be the power figurine. That's a 1/4 scale power figurine, and I really think it shows everything you need to know about Power just from a glance. You can see that she's very confident through the pose. And then I think down here with Nicole's as well, you can kind of tell she likes money and she's very cunning. So moving on from my own figurine collection and preferences, I think it's probably good to talk to you about the different types of figurines and the different ones you can get depending on your preference. So starting off with prize figurines. Prize figurines they're cheaper, they have a few less details, and as the name implies, they're usually prizes. They usually put these things in like crane machines in the arcades. A couple, for example, here would be the Taito Miku, a Rem figurine here. The details can be a bit messy and not sharp. The quality can be a bit hit or miss. But these are extremely good and affordable ways to get your first figurine of a character you really like, or if you just want to dip your toes into figurine collecting. And to be honest, I say that the quality is not as good. There are prize figurines where the quality is genuinely like, this is a prize figurine? What? Because some of them are actually really well done. So don't let the fact that they're prize figurines deter you from buying a prize figurine. They are really good figurines for what they are. Now, Popper Parade, very briefly, I put these kind of as an in-between of scale and prize figurines. I think it's a great middle ground. They're not as expensive as scales, as far as I'm aware. some figurine experts are going to be like, oi! They are just as expensive, actually. And if so, you can correct me in the comments. But I think they're really good in between. I'm not too big of a fan of them now, just because I don't like the bases. But they are a really good middle ground, because the details are a bit more refined. And then we have scale figurines. These are personally my absolute favourite type. They have higher quality, they're larger, and they're to scale as well. But of course, that all comes with the higher price tag of the figurines. The price can depend a little bit depending on the scale you get as well, but typically they are a little bit more expensive. But the most common scales for scale figurines are 1/8 and 1/7. There are also these absolutely gigantic 1/4 scale figurines. These, I'd say, are more statues rather than figurines, and they are very expensive. Currently, I have 7 1/4 scales in my collection, and they all look amazing. And then I stopped buying them because they take up a lot of room. Power is currently my biggest 1/4 scale. In fact, I think figurine overall, maybe next to Nanachi here. But Nanachi is the most expensive collection. I actually had to build a new base there for Nanachi. Originally, they came with a green base. And Nanachi was my most expensive figurine in my collection, and the base was faulty. Basically, what happened was the pegs for the feet, they didn't fit into their feet. So what I did is I bought an acrylic disc, I bought some standoffs, and I was able to build them a new base. And honestly, I think it was a great side project, and I actually really like how the base turned out. I think it looks really good, and frankly, way better than the one that came with it, because it was this really opaque green. So the light just goes straight through. It's really good. So it prevents shadows in your cabinet. I really do adore scale figurines because you're able to dedicate an entire shelf to them. And that way you can have all the characters at the same scale with each other. And I think that's just really cool to look at. But that's not all. There's a couple more depending on your fancy. So there's Nendroids. Now, Nendroids are really, really cute figurines. They have like this chibi appearance, they have really nice detail, and they have these interchangeable parts. So you can change the faces, you can change the hands, the arms, the legs, and you can set them up to do this entire scenario if you really want to. You can have a whole like diorama if you wanted to. Like here I've got Roxy here, who has turned Akko into a rabbit, and Akko is not happy about that. And I have Senko here praising the chicken jockey McDonald's potion. So if you don't like the chibi look of Nendroids, but you really, really want the ability to be able to pose your figurines, or you want to be able to you just want the proportions to not be chibi, basically, you can go with Figmas. And Figmas are basically that. They are they are very similar. They're basically action figures. You can change the hands, you can change the faces, and you can pose them and whatnot. And they are a brilliant option if you prefer something that's not cute and chibi looking, but you want to be able to pose things and do interchangeable stuff. So to summarize this little section, if you want a cheap figurine and you don't mind about details, then a prize figurine is a really good way to get figurine and a way to dip your toes into figurine collecting. If you want a detailed statue and you really want really high quality, then you want to be going with a scale figurine. And if you want to be able to pose your figurines in creative ways and take photos and stuff like that, then a Figma or Nendroid might be for you. But no Funko Pops! No Funko Pops! I'm not even going to mention it. No! No! There is no Funko Pop here. Banned! So you might now be asking yourself on where do I buy figurines from? Now, I used to buy figurines at random stores and at conventions, and I'm very glad I learned that massive mistake early. So usually at conventions, at stores, here at least, they're usually far higher than what you can buy them for, and there's quite a high chance, at least at conventions, that they could be bootleg. So what I found is AmiAmi. So AmiAmi is a Japanese retailer that ships worldwide. I've bought countless figurines at this point from them with absolutely no issues, and I quite enjoy buying from them, really, because you get them at the retail price. Hashtag not sponsored. I should make that clear. Not sponsored. A couple things I should warn about with AmiAmi is just that when you want to buy a figurine on AmiAmi, you'll most likely be pre-ordering the figurine it'll be months in advance. And what you do is when you pre-order that figurine, you don't pay for it until it's released and they have it ready for you. Just because some changes can happen, the date could shift. So it is very, very important that you put that money away, because they won't charge you, and then they'll give you the payment request saying, "Where's my money? Give me my money for this figurine you ordered back in winter and it's summer." And you need to make sure that you have the money to pay for it and try not to be caught out. I typically have a calendar which I write down all the figurines I have pre-ordered to make sure I don't forget. Now, if you can't pay when they do the payment request, there have been some stories of users being banned. So it's just a sort of putting it out there just to let you know before you potentially go buying stuff from AmiAmi, is that you pre-order the figurine if it's not in stock. You don't pay until it releases, and then you pay when it releases. But you need to make sure that you pay when they give you the payment request. And I think they give you a couple of weeks. Normally I just do it when I wake up in the morning straight away if I've got the request, but I believe they give you a week or so, I think. But best to double check that. And the last section of this video is actually going to be how I store my figurines. So I try and keep all my figurines in cabinets as much as possible to keep the dust away, and more importantly, just keeping them out of direct sunlight, so that they don't get sun damaged. For spare parts for the Figmas and the Nendos, I put these in one of those, it's like an arts and crafts segmented box, and I label them up, just saying what figurine it is and which one it came with, just to keep it all organised, and I just keep it underneath the cabinet, and it works really, really, really well. Now, even though they're in cabinets, it doesn't mean that they won't get dusty over time. It's just a lot less than if they were on a shelf. You don't want the dust damaging your expensive figurines, do you? Do you? Nah! So the best advice I have ever got was from a friend, and they mentioned that using a makeup brush was a good way to make sure that you keep your figurines dust free. And oh my life, yes, it is so good. So the makeup brush is very big and it's very soft, so you're able to brush the figurines very, very gently without risk of damaging them. and you're able to get the dust off very easily. I give the cabinets a check sort of once a week, you know, every now and then basically, just to see if they're getting dusty. And when they are, I just take them out, gently give them a dust, and that's all good. As for the boxes, you don't have to keep the boxes. I'm one of those people, though, who keeps the boxes completely unflattened, and I put them into a bit of loft space. Just in case I have to move, or if I want to sell it, then I've got the peace of mind that I've got the box that it came in for protection of it. And if I haven't mentioned it already, you don't want to be putting your figurines in direct sunlight if you can help it, because sunlight will damage your figurines over time, and you don't want that the colours to fade or anything like that. There's obviously with the Miku from before, that one's a little bit sun damaged. There's a couple more figurines which I have, which are also sun damaged, just because I bought them second hand. But yeah, you want to keep them, you know, away from direct sunlight if you can help it. So now I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on collecting figurines. Do you have any favourite characters that you wish would have a figurine? Are you planning on getting into figurine collecting? Well, welcome to the club, by the way. Good luck. If you're not already into it though, are you looking to get into it? If you are looking to get into it, I really hope this video was of some help for you. I hope that maybe it will have helped answer some questions for you. And if not, I just hope you enjoyed hearing me yap about figurine collecting. I really enjoy collecting them, and I really look forward to more releases over time. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!